Hello friends, welcome back to High Tech Institution YouTube channel. So in this video, right, we are going to talk about which is the best pipeline tools available in market, especially when you are having AWS based or Azure based client environment. What would be your best recommended CICD tool? Okay, that is what we're going to discuss today. Of course, we have completed one important video before this video, which is something called comparison of Terraform and cloud formation, infrastructure as a code comparison. I think I got a great response from all of you. Thanks for that. If anybody missed watching that comparison and discussion video of infrastructure as a code, so I will mention the link in this description. Go ahead and have a look on it. Then come to this video. It will be, kind of continuation. Okay. So again, I'm handing over to Satish. Satish is the one who's recently attending all the interviews in various company and started capturing the interview questions. Okay. Based on his experience in all their live interview, right? He'll be asking question to all of our three experts. Okay. Myself, Hari, and Soumya is there, and Ram is there. Okay. We are the three people going to answer what are the question has been captured by Satish on his 2 to 3 different interview what he attended in the recent time. Yes, Satish, start.
Yeah, okay, Hari. Now move to the question. AWS CodeBuild. Yeah, Hari, could you please explain what is AWS CodeBuild?
Yes, of course. When talking about a pipeline, right, definitely CodeBuild, it's one of the native AWS service. Of course, we do have many other services. I would not say services, other tools. Okay, something called Jenkins, something called Gitlab, GitHub, like various Bamboo, like Argo CD, like various CI/CD pipeline tools are there. When come to CodeBuild, right? It's a native AWS service. It's in AWS we have a multiple different services, right? Again, this is one among where I would say, right, the major difference is when people are more with the AWS side, they don't want to depend pipeline tool with other third-party tools only for pipeline. So that is the reason AWS introduced this CodeBuild. Definitely, this is for running our pipeline and where we can test and execute, build our job, okay, based upon our need. And the only thing is this, we don't want to manage any backend server. Okay, where AWS CodeBuild, it will be taken care by AWS itself. And based on the loads, right, upgrading the backend instances, downgrading based upon the need and performance, right? The auto healing will be taken care by AWS itself. It's kind of a platform as a service, I would say, native pipeline tool for AWS users. Okay, based on the usage, it will be get charged month on month. We'll be getting the bill. Okay, whereas other tools are open source, it's available. We'll discuss about that.
Yeah, good, Hari. Next one, Morgan. How does AWS CodeBuild integrate with source code repositories? Did you understand?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So generally, at the time of code build creation, it will ask some repositories. Okay. So in real time, we can integrate the code from code commit. That also one kind of version control system. And GitHub, you already know, you may aware of that. So you can integrate the code from there itself and Bitbucket like that. Lot of repositories there. Okay, so the thing is, you have to place your respective application into that, and then you can simply execute the thing through this code build. Okay, so it pulls the respective application from that repo, and then it execute the things. Okay.
Yeah, good, Morgan. And next question. So coming to Hari. Yeah, Hari, could you explain what is the difference between CodeBuild and other CI/CD services like Jenkins?
Yeah, so that's interesting stuff. Basically, right, there are lots of competitors available when it comes to pipeline CI/CD tools. As far as my experience, right, I've started my career with Jenkins, open source tool. We don't want to pay anything. And by the way, Jenkins has lots of user community. Lots of people are using. When you are suddenly stuck into some error and all, if you go and search in internet, lots of documentation and material available for all the Jenkins error related. Okay. So lots of users are using Jenkins and open source, a reliable tool. And yeah, it's based out of developed using Java language. Okay. Where if we come to other tools like compared to AWS CodeBuild, we do have a GitLab is there. It's one of the software service based tool, web interface. Okay. It's kind of in browser we need to type gitlab.com, so where we can go and set up our all these pipelines and integrating with our cloud all those integration can be done into the web interface. Even recently, right, GitHub also, they have introduced, there is something called workflow. Okay, even we are in the form of, migrating the things from Azure Devops pipeline to GitHub workflow. We are also, it's a recent activity many companies are taking place. That is one of the important, pipeline build tool, I would say. And again, comparing all those things, right? Jenkins is the one open source. Apart from that, right, remaining all tool, we need to pay as you go model only. Where if you take AWS CodeBuild, we need to pay a bill based on the hours we are executing the pipeline, what resources consumed in the backend. Similarly, GitHub, Gitlab, Azure Devops pipeline, everything is going to be a chargeable basis. Okay. So only thing why people are moving out. So where Jenkins is open source, right? Why people are going with the paid tool means, of course, people will think Jenkins writing a pipeline, it will work through Groovy language actually. Whereas other languages, right, mostly it will work in the YAML pipeline. We can maintain and write it in YAML itself. It will be easy to understand also, like as a beginner. Where Groovy, the beginner can't understand it. That requires some level of expertise in writing Groovy pipeline script. Okay, that is the main reason. And again, in Jenkins, right, we need to manage the backend server masters. We need to maintain the slaves. Okay, the maintaining the backend servers, the Jenkins server host, right? We need to take care of it. There is no option for SaaS kind of thing. Where if you come other tools, right, they have option backend that CodeBuild server or GitLab or GitHub or Azure DevOps. The backend hardware we don't want to be maintained it. Okay, where the concerned service provider or cloud provider will take care of maintaining it. Pretty much, rest all doing the same job, authentication, everything, rest all going to be doing the same job. But again, handling is very easy. The cloud build and other tools comparing Jenkins. This is what a major difference I would call.
Yeah, very excellent. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So Morgan, this is for you. So what is Jenkins?
Okay, so Jenkins is a CI/CD tool, and then it's an open source. Okay. It's developed using the Java language. And if you guys wants to work with the Jenkins pipeline, if you guys wants to work with the CI/CD scenarios instead of Jenkins, you guys have to configure the Java JDK. Okay, so it pick that JDK tools to perform the entire activity. And then the interesting thing is it's an open source, and then in addition to that, here plugins is there. Okay, so using that plugins, we can integrate with the a lot of environments. Like if you want to integrate with the GitHub, if you are going to execute anything in that GitHub repo files, in the sense you can here one plugin is that using that plugin you can work with the GitHub. And not only GitHub, here there is an option SSH agent. SSH agent is one of a plugin. Okay, so using that plugin we can interact with the other virtual machines. Okay, so like that, a lot of plugins is that helps you to work with multiple environments. And another thing is here master slave configuration is there to balance the internal workloads. For example, if you are executing any real-time pipeline jobs in the sense, it will distribute the workloads between the machines. For example, if you are parallelly executing multiple jobs in the sense, your Jenkins server can't handle the respective situation. Okay, so for that, here one option is that you can split it. For example, you can execute some jobs in the master machine, you can execute some jobs in slave machines. Like that, you can split it. If you are split it in the sense, in that time CPU utilization will be low, which means in that time your jobs will execute instantly. So yeah.
Yeah, Morgan, you are saying a framework for continuous integration and continuous deployment, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, Hari, what is your Jenkins file? Could you explain?
Yes, Jenkins file is nothing but whenever you have a CI/CD pipeline, right? Continuous integration, continuous deployment. So it will have a various stages. Why we are calling it as a pipeline? First, it will take care of the build stage, then it will be taking care of test stage, then it will take care of a deployment. So yeah, all these things will happen as a sequence, one after next, one after next. That's why basically we are calling it out pipeline. When come to Jenkins, right? We have something called Jenkins file. in our repository. Either we'll have a GitHub repository or Bitbucket repository. Especially in Jenkins, Jenkins does not have any in-house repository, code repository, where we have compared many other tools, right? GitLab or GitHub or whatever, like other Azure Devops, okay, or AWS, CodeBuild, like other pipeline tools, right? Somehow they have a in-house repository, code repository, but the Jenkins does not have the code repository. So we need to maintain the Jenkins file over there, actually. Okay, the Jenkins file will have a collections of Jenkins script, groovy script that will ensure the pipeline will execute stage by stage. Okay, we'll have to define what's supposed to be done in the stage 1. You need to define what's supposed to be doing in the stage 2, where my test will come, where my deployment will come, where my build will come. All those things I'll define in the Jenkins file. Whatever the stages and whatever the operations I'm defining in the Jenkins file, right? Accordingly, my Jenkins pipeline will work. So I would say Jenkins file is the backbone of my pipeline. So whatever instruction I made, it will work accordingly.
Yeah, good, Hari. Yeah, Soumya.
Yeah, yes, Satish.
Okay, explain difference between Jenkins freestyle project and Jenkins pipeline.
Difference between Jenkins
Major difference.
freestyle project and the Jenkins pipeline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so freestyle project actually it is a traditional Jenkins project where you configure individual build steps through the Jenkins web interface. So actually, freestyle projects are it's a fundamental one. Okay, but when it comes to the pipeline, it is more than it is more modern approach using the domain specific language to define the entire build pipeline, allowing the better version control and management of complex workflows. So pipeline project is better either to set up a CD pipeline or define the deployment pipeline as a code. So the pipeline project is suitable for build the pipeline for complex jobs, whereas the freestyle project is suitable for simple jobs. So that's all about the difference between freestyle project and Jenkins pipeline.
Yeah, okay, good, Soumya. Yeah, okay, Morgan, this is for you. Explain the concept of a Jenkins agent.
Jenkins agent, right? Okay, which is nothing. Where you gonna execute your jobs? Okay, so for example, if you take any one of real-time organization, they are setting some lot of Jenkins servers. Okay, so one server will be the master, and then others are the node. So you have to choose at the time of pipeline execution. Okay, so at the time of pipeline execution, you have to choose that agent. For example, the thing is, each and every machine having a unique name, which is something called label. Okay, so we have to provide a name into that label that will give one unique identity to your Jenkins machine. Using that label, we have to refer that label name into your pipeline. So after that, your Jenkins will find, yeah, okay, so these people asking me to execute this pipeline in this area, in this platform. Like that, Jenkins will find. Okay, so we have to choose that. And in addition to that, we similarly, we have to configure that agent pipeline. Okay, so if we, to balance our workload, inside of Jenkins is that setup.
Yeah, got it. Okay, Soumya, could you please explain the concept of Jenkins plugins?
Yeah, yes, Satish. Actually, Jenkins plugins. So Jenkins plugins are it is extensions that enhance the functionality of Jenkins. Actually, they can support for new source code repository, and they can support for build the tools and deployment platforms and more also. And the plugins can be easily installed and configured through the Jenkins web interface. Okay, when you go to the Manage Jenkins, under the Manage Jenkins, we can get the option called the plugins. So the plugins itself to integrate other developer tools into the Jenkins environment also. And also here, when come to the Jenkins plugins, so we can add a new user interface elements to the Jenkins web user interface. And also it helps with the administration of Jenkins and to enhance the Jenkins for build and the source code management also. So that is the concept of Jenkins plugins.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, move to the next for the page. Yeah, GitLab. Okay. So yeah, Hari, you are waiting too long, so asking question, right? So what is GitLab?
GitLab, yes. As I said, we have various tools, right? Jenkins, and we even discussed about AWS CodeBuild. Similarly, in that family, GitLab also one of the CICD pipeline tool. Okay, literally going to be software as a service. I would say why where if you have a AWS CodeBuild, if you want to access, you need to log into AWS console. You need to search for the service, then you will get the interface. Where Jenkins, it's hard actually. You need to have one server, either it could be physical or virtual or AWS instant. You need to install the operating system, you need to configure the Jenkins, only then you will get the interface. But GitLab is not like that. You can simply open Google, type GitLab, it will take you to the login page. I think 30 days they will give you for the free trial. You can set up an account, you can go inside of it, you can explore what interface, how interface it is. It does, I think even doesn't require any credit card even, right? If you have an email ID, everyone can create it. So one of the easiest tool to interact and authenticate other clouds actually. Okay, so where if you take from GitLab, you can easily authenticate AWS, Azure, everywhere. And the pipeline structure, we were talking about Jenkins files, that Groovy, right? It's quite complex, okay, because not everyone understands Groovy, but YAML is very straightforward and the easiest way. In GitLab, right, we can simply define a YAML or each pipeline, what the stage 1 will do, stage 2, stage 3, everything we can specify in the YAML. So by the way, we can execute our things and stuff. End of day, the charges, right, after 30 days, you will have to pay based upon the usage only. End of day. Okay. Again, GitLab, they are providing even backend, you can have your own server also, but there is no point if you go like that. The reason why we are going to GitLab is to difficulty of handling the servers. Again, if you are going and switching that option, I think there's no much efficiency. Yeah, you can go as per the SaaS model in GitLab. Very interesting and easy and very user friendly too.
Yeah, very good, Hari. Yeah, Morgan, would you please explain what
Yes.
is GitLab CICD?
Okay, so CICD you guys have for continuous delivery, continuous integration and then continuous delivery. So performing build, test, deployment, like that, a lot of stages are there. Okay, so GitLab itself, there is an option to perform the CI/CD. Like GitLab allows to automate the building, testing, and deployment of your application. Okay, so these are the things we can perform. Here itself, similarly, in GitHub, workflow is there to perform the CI/CD. Similarly, here also one YAML file is there, which is something called GitLab, I think GitLab CI link. Okay, so you have to define the pipeline status. Okay, so you have to define the pipeline status, which in this GitLab CI. Okay, so if you are executing that in the sense, it will execute the respective things which you configured in the stages. Okay, and then as Hari said, it's a 30 days free trial. Yeah, so these are the things.
Yeah, okay, Morgan, good. Yeah, final one, Hari. Which one is better to perform CI/CD?
Yeah, this is actually hypothetical question. Why I said like that, it totally all depends on the requirement. Again, if people are the organization, they don't want to spend money on this, definitely they're looking for open source. For them, option one is Jenkins, no other doubt in that. People ready to afford some money, okay, so they are their customer is ready to afford some money. In that case, they need to identify which cloud they are using. If they are using AWS based environment, go with the native service, AWS CodeBuild, something like that. If they are Azure environment, right, go with Azure Devops. I think great tool. Again, Azure Devops or even my GitHub also, now GitHub also product of Microsoft, right? GitHub also, they are providing a pipeline functionality called GitHub Workflow. Either any one you can pick, the Azure users. The general people, right, on-prem environment or any Linux users, they're totally not out of Cloud, those people also can go with GitLab kind of tool, okay, where people can expect good support. But end of day, all tools are independent, platform independent. It support each other, crash supportability, crash functionality, everything possible. I'm just defining out if I am the architect, how I will plan. I'm just sharing that my thought. So other than that, right, everywhere all the tools are capable enough to work. So they need to think before they decide either they want open source or they able to afford some money in terms of license. That's the only key point to consider here. Rest all no. I think all going to be the same.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All things. So I got some things. So we will end up. Okay.
Yeah, fine. I think this is going to be the interesting discussion. Like people who are watching the video, right? If you really like that, you can mention in the comment section and give likes to the video and subscribe to our channel. If you are eagerly looking for any other topic or comparison, this kind of discussion you would like to know happen, mention that topic in the comment section. Upcoming video, right? We will plan to make accordingly. Okay, so it will be useful to you as well, right? And thank you again. We'll meet you soon on next video.